are watching a rescue team in action. One of 27 such teams attached to the fire department of Los Angeles County. 5.5 million people in this area are dependent on their ability to act swiftly and efficiently in any emergency. This program is dedicated to rescue teams throughout the United States and to the men who risk their lives daily to save others. We will be back in a moment to bring you the story behind this exciting rescue.
Well, that's one way of keeping cool.
Stop the kidding, will you? I'll have this thing fixed in a minute.
Yeah, if this food's going to spoil, let's call a repairman.
You know, the trouble with you is you don't have any confidence in me.
I married you, didn't I?
Are you sure it's running? I can barely hear it.
Runs quieter now. Put some graphite on the belts. They were bone dry. Did a couple of extra things, too.
What are the extras going to cost me?
Whatever you think it's worth.
Well, I'm glad you don't charge by the hour. What do you usually get?
Well, make it $5. That sound right?
Sure, if you think it's fair. You know, it does sound like you did a good job.
I know the company's been very patient, but we just haven't had the money. Look, my father's been working all morning. I'll send $10 today. I know I promised before, but I'll send it as soon as he gets home. Honest. Goodbye. Did you get the job finished, Papa? I'll get your lunch.
Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. You know what's wrong with my mousetraps? It's better than you need to catch mice. Doctor of science, and I'm fixing ice boxes.
Eat your lunch. Everything will be all right, Dad.
That's what I keep telling myself. Say, it's almost 12. Aren't you back at class?
The loan company called again.
Well, they're worried about. They'll get their money.
But we're 2 months behind now.
That much? No, I'll call them and explain.
I don't think any explanation will do. I had to promise them $10.
$10? I only got 5.
For a whole morning's work? Let me call that lady and make her pay what she
That's all I ask her for.
Dad, I'm going to get a job.
You want to quit school? Not on your life.
Please, Dad. I can't stand any more bill collectors. They call all the time. I don't tell you because I don't want to get you discouraged. But I just can't take it anymore.
Funny how a person can ignore what he doesn't want to see. You shouldn't have to tell me about this. I ought to have understood it for myself. Well, it's going to be all right from now on. You go back to school, I promise?
Tomorrow, Papa. I couldn't get anything out of it today. Where are you going?
Out to turn over a new leaf.
You've left most of it blank. What have you done for the last 10 years?
Been in business for myself.
Eh? What kind of business? What's your experience?
Your sign said laborers. What experience do you need for that?
Okay. Take this to Hank Carbo, construction foreman of the mixing tower. Go right around the building.
I know where it is. Mr. Carbo, I'm Bob Stark. I'm supposed to report to you.
Laborer. What's wrong with those guys? No offense, Stark, but how old are you?
I need the job, Mr. Carbo.
It's back-breaking work. You can fry eggs on that steel. You think you can take it? I will see. Matthews, lend a hand on this crane crew.
Hey, Hank, how about taking 5? You can't fuck metal in this heat.
I'll lose my hide if these repairs aren't done on schedule. All right, 5, but no more.
Hey, they should have used aluminum beams. Reflects the heat, easier to handle.
You don't say. Well, when the boss asks me for advice, which he ain't likely to do, I'll tell him all about it.
Come on, Slop, I'll get you a tin. Here he comes. Oh, and he says 5. He don't mean 6.
All right, let's fire it up.
You know, Hank, you're executive material.
Ain't that the truth? Say it when the boss is around. Come on, let's hit the ball. Where's the new guy?
Oh, he was here just a minute ago.
Stark! Stark! I'm here, Mr. Carbo. Could you step over here for a minute? What is it with this guy?
You really going to junk these pumps? He's throwing away good money.
For the love of Mike.
They're 2 of the best pumps made.
How do you know they haven't worked in 10 years?
I'll have them running in an hour.
All right, Stark, let's get something straight. If you're an engineer, get on the payroll as one. But in the meantime, you're being carried as a laborer, $1.06 an hour. So start laboring.
I told you that was going to happen. You wouldn't listen to me. Now, come on, let's get to work.
You can't keep the temperature in the mixing room. You and Stark shut off the valves to the acid tank.
Which one?
I'll show you. All right, let's get this pipe up. Come on.
Response to a chemical plant usually spells trouble in capital letters.
My men are stuck right over that busted pipe, and it's spitting nitric acid. Let's have a look.
The fireman's manual refers to acid as a maximum hazard. It's deadly any way you handle it. Breathe it, touch it, ignite it. It becomes a killer. It would take too long to order up and get a net large enough to rig beneath the trapped men.
Tom's here, bell some rope, Skip, so I can make a drop for the pickup. Make 2 shots will blow off in that pipe.
The valve is up there where they are.
The plant maintenance chief had brought up men to hose the acid.
hoping to dilute it and reduce its potency.
Okay, Wes, let's go.
I think the best way up is this stairway, Skip. Can you send up a couple of men with ropes? We're going to need help up there. Right.
Skip and I could lower ourselves, but someone else would have to pull the victims to safety. It would be like dropping into a river of gasoline, hoping no one would light a match. Pure oxygen would soon push the poisonous fumes from their lungs, and except for minor burns, both men would be good as new.
Carbo! If this gauge continues to fall, this plant will go up like the 4th of July. Come on, we better clear everyone out of here.
The beam that had shattered the pipe had also severed the power lines to the cooling plant. And with the outside temperature at heat wave proportion, 10,000 gallons of rocket fuel was getting hotter every second. I advised the deputy that immediate evacuation was called for.
Robert! Robert, stop!
Hello, Frank.
What are you doing here, Robert?
I guess I'm working for you, Frank.
He's one of my laborers, Mr. Rollins. You know him?
Know him. This plant was built to his specifications. Still doing things the hard way, eh,
I
Robert?
guess that'll be the story of my life.
You guys can get together later. Right now, let's get out of here.
Wait a minute. You're just going to let it go, eh, Frank? You're not going to try anything to save it.
There's no time, Robert.
We can try restringing the cables. Because let me tell you, if that fuel goes, it'll make a hole in Los Angeles 3 blocks wide.
You think you can do it?
With a little help, there's a good chance.
Don't try it. We can always build another plant. But if it costs one life...
That was always the difference between us, Frank. This plant is my life. If I have to try saving it alone, that's what I'll do.
Give him a hand.
While the area was being evacuated, we were going to attempt a hurried repair job. String line from the main source of power to the cooling plant. And it meant bridging the puddle nitric acid that still covered the ground. Working from both ends simultaneously, we could save valuable time.
Just like fixing a big refrigerator.
I wish you hadn't said that. You know, something's been bothering me.
Huh?
You work here as a laborer. The owner tells us that you're helping build a plant.
Water under the bridge, son. We just didn't see eye to eye on running the place. Frank was right. I guess 10 years of fixing small appliances should have taught me that I'm an engineer, not a businessman.
Hey, Wes! Here it comes! Too short!
So near and yet so far. There was one chance. I could get the rope up to them, tie my end of the cable to it, and have them make the splice, if there was time.
Maybe if you ever shot straight, do it now. All right, take it away. Are you ready? All right, Wes, throw the switch. Nothing's happening here, Skip. Still climbing. What do you think's wrong?
The panel, when the wires hit that acid, the short circuit must have blown the whole panel out. Come on.
Robert Stark explained that he was going to try to reroute current from an auxiliary generator to the new power lines that we had helped him string. You think you can make it work?
I should. I designed it. You two take off that top panel. Yank those cartridge fuses. Yeah. You're needing them later.
He's here?
Yeah, that's right.
How's that gauge doing, Skip?
Still coming up. Put in the fuses, one at a time. Let her
Hi, Bill. Darling.
She's working like a charm. Load her up.
Thank you.
I wonder if this thing realizes the honor it's just been bestowed upon it.
Huh?
Well, what I mean is, how many refrigerators can claim to have been repaired by the new plant superintendent of the Rollins Chemical Works?
Too many.
Dad, it's just like a dream. You and Mr. Rollins together again.
A dream? It's more like an awakening from a long, painful nightmare.
A desperate race against time and the elements had awakened a man to sudden understanding. Business could not function without engineering, and engineers could not function without business.